Every book on my shelves once felt magical, but not all still do. Today I'm unhauling those that lost their spark. So hi and welcome back to my channel, my fellow fantasy book lovers, or if you're new here, hi and welcome. My name is Kathy and I'm a fantasy book lover from Belgium. Today I want to talk to you about something that is as essential as buying books, for me at least. It is also getting rid of the books that don't spark joy. Now for me there are different types of reasons why I might decide to get rid of a book, but the main reason is if I've read the book and I decided I did not enjoy it, or it is not something that I would ever want to either recommend to someone or reread, is the moment that I decide to get rid of it. So in today's video I will go through a few examples and also talk about book subscription books and deciding what stays on my TBR shelf. So the first three books that I'm getting rid of are actually very recent purchases and recent reads. The first one is the Fairy Guild Trials duology by G.L. Preston. The Fairy Guild Trials as a standalone or as like one book would have been fine, but the second book, Games of the Fairy Queen, was such a disappointment that I have just decided for myself I no longer want to keep these on my shelves, so they are going to a new home and the person buying these will get the full duology at once. The next book was a 3-star read. It is A Match Made in Hell by Charlotte Ingham. This is not per se a bad book. It is a fluffy fantasy romance book between a girl who dies, goes to hell, and there tries to get out of hell by talking to the overlord there and going through trials. For me, this book missed a lot of character development, and that is one of the reasons I will never read it, because I know how the story ends now. I might give it to a friend who was also thinking about reading this book, so maybe she'll enjoy it, and otherwise these books go up on my Vinted. So you will notice a theme with the books that I'm getting rid of. If I've read them, it's because I didn't enjoy them. And the next one really hurts my heart a little bit, because this was a beautiful edition, a gift from my partner last year for the holidays. It is a absolutely beautiful signed edition of the Book of Azrael by Amber Nicole, but this series just absolutely wasn't for me. The next book I'm getting rid of is The Stars Are Dying by Chloe C. Penaranda. I loved the setup of this series, but it just wasn't memorable enough for me, so I decided after book 1 to not read the series anymore, and that is unfortunately also the reason I'm getting rid of it. I do enjoy this author's style, but this book just was a miss for me. The same thing for this absolutely beautiful dark academia book. This is Immortal Dark, and the setup of this book sounds like something that I would absolutely enjoy and devour. The main reason that I didn't like it is if it would have been the reverse situation of a white person writing this book and putting so much accents on white culture, then this book would have been cancelled. But because this was a black author putting a lot of accents on black culture, suddenly this is a good book and you should read it. There were so many special editions. I found it fell flat. The story was not super interesting. I did like the main character. I did not like the romance line going on in the book. It's dark academia, but it's not my type of dark academia. And I had 2 special editions. I have this one. This is, I think, the Fairy Loot one. And then I also had the Alcrate one, because I thought this was going to be one of my new favorite books. Up next is an author that I, in the meantime, know I don't like the writing style of. I actually got Masters of Death together with One for My Enemy by Olivia Blake. These are the special editions with the window cut out, is what I'm gonna call it. So there is like this window in it. The setup of this book, like you can see this book and you see, oh, bats, vampires, main theme of the book. Unfortunately not, and that is why I'm getting rid of it. And since it came in a bundle with One for My Enemy, I'm also selling One for My Enemy, because I don't think I will ever read an Olivia Blake book again. They just are not my thing, and that's fine. Then I'm getting rid of an edition of a book that I have a different edition of that I am keeping. This is Silver in the Bone by Alexandra Bracken. This is the Fairy Loot special editions with all of like the papers and everything it came with. I love this book. But it is not such a good book that I need 2 special editions of them, because my partner gifted me the Alcrate ones that have this beautiful silver edge. It doesn't mean that this isn't a beautiful edition, it's just less pretty than the others I have, and I have a personal preference for those. But this is a really good Arthurian-based YA fantasy. The next book I'm getting rid of is The City of Stardust. If you saw my reading recaps, you know that unfortunately this is a book that I really did not enjoy because of how the plotline was done. I liked the world building, I liked the intrigues, I liked most of what was going on in the book, but the ending totally killed it because it feels like the ending was a mismatch to the rest of the book. It is a beautiful book nonetheless, and I hope someone will enjoy it. And then the final book I'm getting rid of is The Sanctuary of Shadow. And this is the only book of the books that I'm getting rid of that I haven't actually read because I was at an event when I purchased this book. I didn't have a lot of time to browse and to actually read into books and to look them up on Goodreads and see people's opinions on them. Usually that is what I do. I will always look up the book, look at a few reviews, see what the vibes are, etc. But for this one, I just saw it. I saw the pretty spray painted edges and I was like, okay, I'll get it. This book is not something that I'm actually even interested in. I now know that it's very poorly written. A friend of mine read it and was like, get rid of it as fast as you can because this is not something good. Now, of course, with these books leaving my shelves, I still have a lot of books on my shelves. I think at this point I own close to 300 books. And if you don't know, I actually have two locations where I keep my books. The ones that you see behind me are the books that I've actually read, that I finished, that I enjoyed, that I recommend to people and that I would at some point reread. And then I have the shelves in the living room that is my big TBR shelf. And I'm not gonna lie, it is again overflowing. And the thing is with my TBR shelf is that I have a love-hate relationship with it. I love a lot of books on there and I cannot wait to get to them, but I very often get distracted by shiny new object syndrome, as when I see new books in a bookstore, I buy those and then I immediately start reading one of those instead. And one of the reasons that my bookshelves are also overflowing is because I have a very hard time letting go of a book that I haven't read yet. And that's also the reason that there's still a bunch of Fairy Loot and Illumicrate subscription books on there, is because I want to read them, I want to know what they're about, and then make my opinion if they're good enough for me to keep them or not. But that means that those aren't books that I would have chosen in the first place, that I just got on my shelves because they were part of a subscription and that I'm now struggling to let go. So I really need to re-evaluate my TBR shelves at some point in the near future. Either I have to pick up my reading of them or I need to start letting go of books because it's simply too much and too many books that distract me from the ones that I actually want to read, or that make it that I pick up something completely different that isn't even on my shelves because I get overwhelmed by them. But with all that talking about the books that I have, how do I actually decide what stays on my shelves? Well, there are a few pointers that I keep to. The first reason that I decide if a book gets to stay or not is the emotional connection that I felt with the book during the reading. Did I like the characters? Maybe I even hated him, but I loved the plotline. So the emotions that I have during the reading of a book are one of the defining factors. Regardless if it's an author I love or not, that is one of the main reasons that I will decide to yes or no keep a book. Number two is, of course, the rereading potential. And I don't mean rereading it immediately. I mean, in 5 years, if I look at my shelves and I want to reread a book, is there any chance I would pick up that particular book? Reason number three is a silly reason, but aesthetics. Like if you look at those shelves here, you can see that those are beautiful, aesthetically pleasing books. Now they are the special editions of some of my favorite books of all time, the Empire of the Vampire series by J. Kristoff, but I have to admit, if I would have had another gold and red book, it would probably be there as well, and I would be keeping it mainly for the aesthetic reasons. And then finally, there are a few nostalgic books on my shelves as well. Those are not the books that you will always see because they are with some other books or at the bottom shelves, but they're books that when I read them when I was younger, I really loved. Some of the authors in the meantime have done things that I don't agree with, so I don't want to actively recommend them, but I still don't want to get rid of them because when I was younger, they meant something to me. They helped my evolution as a reader, and some of those books I will just never get rid of, regardless of the condition of the book and of what is actually happening in the world. Letting go of books is hard, but I want to make sure that every book on the shelves behind me is a book that I either want to actively recommend or that it sparks some sort of joy inside me. And I think that's what bookshelves should do. They should make you happy. They should make you feel like you can jump into any world you want and escape from this reality. So now I'm curious, what's a book that you've recently unhauled, and what are some of your books that you will never let go of? I will personally never let go of my J. Kristoff trilogy. It's simply too good, regardless of the edition. Now, of course, if you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up, and if you haven't already and you'd like to be, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I make new videos every week and I would love to have you for every single one of them. Thank you so much for watching and happy reading. Bye!